welcome back to the Nomad 76 channel. So today we are going to work on a new project to automate or simplify the watering system for my chicken coop. And if you see here, I have a 55-gallon plastic barrel and one part. Obviously I have many others, but we'll go through this kind of step by step. Before I get too far into this video though, I want to put full credit to Homestead Economics, and I will put a link to his channel because I got the idea from him. I'm using a few different parts, but just because it's what I found at the my local Home Depot. So obviously I didn't get the barrel there. I got it from somebody off of Facebook Marketplace. So anyways, yeah, it's just stay tuned and follow along. Okay, so to start off, we have our Bulkhead Union with a EPDM washer, which is basically just a big rubber washer with a 1/2-inch outlet and inlet, and national pipe thread, MPT. One of the notes here, if you can see that right up there, can be used on flat or beveled surfaces. Obviously we have a little bit of a curve here, so I drilled the 1.25-inch hole with my hole saw. And I'll show you how I managed to get this in here. I wanted one with a fully removable lid, but this is all the guy near me had, so I went with this style bucket. So I just fashioned this. This will be able to, I'll be able to pull that out. It's just pushed in there, it's not glued, so that I can guide this down in through the top, down, and then pop it out the hole here in the bottom. So that's how I managed that. Well, I drilled the pilot hole first, so I spaced them 4 inches apart. No direct science or anything there, just looked about right. You drill a 3/8-inch hole in here. This is a 1/8-inch national pipe thread, which if you just thread it in like this with just hand force, and it'll create basically threads in the PVC. And then once I remove it, and then put Teflon tape on it and then thread it back in. It's low pressure, obviously it's not pressurized, it's gravity fed. Alright, so Manifold is assembled. I ended up having to go to the hardware store again anyways, because my cement for my PVC cement had dried up. Seems like no matter how hard tight I tighten that stuff, it never stays very long. Anyhow, so I've got just a reducer from 3/4 to 1/2-inch male. I had to use a coupler, just it helped me with the lengthwise, and then this push-in style fitting. So this goes with that poly tubing, and then if you need to remove it, you can push and pull on this blue part here, and you can actually release it. So it kind of makes it somewhat a quick disconnect. They're kind of a little challenging to get. This is typical of a irrigation piping system. So if you're in a hardware store like a Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever, you need to go to usually the irrigation section for lawn stuff. So not just they may not be in the same area. Okay, so this is set. This is going to get mounted. I'm putting a top hat on it, just to keep debris out of the falling leaves and stuff out of the cups. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. I'll get it down there. We'll at the actual coop, and we'll see what we're gonna do. All right, it's mounted over here. Now it's time to get the barrel in place and finish the plumbing. This turned out to be the wrong size. I'll have to double check that later, but luckily I didn't have to make a trip back to the store because I had bought these. I'm filling up the tank right now, or the barrel. So normally, like under a system under pressure, there's a little metal bands that you put on these that you crimp down. I think I can get away without that with the low pressure of this system. We'll find out. If not, I can just throw a hose clamp on there for the time being. Maybe, you know, purchase those clamps later or something. But we'll get this all plumbed up. Hopefully this is going to work. This is going to be a little pain, but I'll share that once I get. All right, so to wrap up another project here on the homestead, just, you know, trying to make life easier, you know, so that, you know, your chickens are a little more self-reliant, meaning, you know, the fact that now I have this water system that allows us to you know, go out of town for the weekend or a week, and they're going to be okay without us. Granted, I got to work on a feeder solution, but to upgrade that, but to more of a long-term, you know, to where I can fill up a large reservoir and the, you know, at gravity feeds. Same concept, just not water, feed. So, but we're getting there, and one little small step at a time, making life easier. Like this project, to spend you know, half a day on, and now I'm, you know, super stoked. The only thing I'm going to probably change is I'm probably going to come down a little bit with the drinkers, so that it's more evident to the chickens that there's water there, and it'll give me a little more elevation change from the tank to the drinkers. Oh, in a note, I didn't really show that earlier. I just put this up on 4 cinder blocks, had to level the ground out a little bit with some sand and gravel that I already had here on the property. So just super stoked. Cool project, glad I did it. I'll show you upgrades in the future, like when I add the rainwater harvesting to it, and a gauge system that's very simple with a piece of PVC pipe that's going to go down through this with a cap on it that'll basically, you know, let me know when we're water critical, which will be a little while with 55 gallons, right? So thanks for watching this Nomad 76. Hey, don't forget, if you got any questions, comments, whatever, put them down below. Hit like, subscribe, however you please. The old icon will be there on the screen. All right, have a great day.